Hello everyone, Derek Diablo here, Diablo TV, and I've been getting a lot of questions about politics, political theory, political science. Those of you who don't know my background, it take a while to figure it out, but I'm one of the organizers. I'm one of the people who organized U.S. Antifa, but it came from being in SHARP, Skinheads Against Racial Prejudice, longer story, but it has to do with the history of anti-racism globally in the United States. So most people who are using the term, a lot of them I consider racist. So I'm one of the OGs of the movement from the 80s, militant anti-racist movement, anti-racist skinheads. That's where it came from. So we're colorblind South Florida Tri-County skinheads, sharp skinheads against racial prejudice. You had the Baldies, you have loads of crews from across America. Baldy became ARA, Anti-Racist Action, which was basically the counterpart for Anti-Fascist Action, AFA, which later became known as Antifa, even though some people think the way the media portrays it is that Antifa is short for anti-fascist. No. Antifa, when it came out in 2008, 2009, that term was short name for Action, Anti-Fascist Action, AFA, Anti-Fascist Action. It's an organization. It's not anybody could just claim it. The flag means something. That flag, you go back into the history of it, you'll find Action Antifascisti. That's anti-fascist action. That's Antifa. So 1932 to 1933. So what we begin talking about is, to me, is the most fascinating thing. You know, you hear a lot about World War II politics, Nazis, fascists, blah, 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 blah. So it's well documented. But then what led to that? So then you talk about something that's not discussed enough. You have people talking about World War One. Then you have people talking about World War II. But the interwar period, ooh, that's what you want to look into. So this is me just giving some of my opinions. I'm not involved in militant politics anymore. I'm not involved in any political organizing. I'm involved in football hooliganism, which has political overtones. And then you get political people who seek to recruit football hooligans for their political organizations, because football hooligans like to fight, and then a lot of them are not very up on politics, well versed on politics. So you wind them up with a particular agenda that's popular and that that they're leaning towards, or however you go about it. Politicians and political organizations recruit violent youth and violent street people and gangs and hooligans, but it's for their own agenda. And I learned that myself. You know, they give you promises of power, but really they're going to keep themselves in there and just hijack your movement and so forth. So whenever you want to talk about Antifa, AFA, Antifasciste Action, 1932, 1933, so before Nazis come into power, so the flag, that's, you see it was the arm wing or the militant wing, KPT, German Communist Party, straight up. You look at the picture that I'll use for this video, it shows the first meeting, and it has the Antifa flag, it's in two hammers and sickles next to it, because this was the German Communist Party. So the leader, you have to look now at the leader. How everybody going around using this flag? Who started it? Who's the leader of it? What does it mean? Not what does it mean many generations later or manifestations later. We're currently in the fourth manifestation. But the original manifestation, ERNST THALMANN. You ever heard his name before? No, I wonder why. Everybody talking about Antifa and anti-fascists and this and Transifa and everything else. How about the guy who started it? Well, you gotta figure that's only Action Antifascisti, Antifasciste Action, Anti-Fascist Action from Germany, militant wing of the German Communist Party, Stalinist party, Stalinist group, Ernst Thälmann, top Stalinist in Germany. You have to look further back to the original organization that Anti-Fascist Action came from, which is the RFB. You don't know that one, do you? Look into it. ROTER FRONTKAMPFERBUND, Red Front. So that's where you get the fist. Some people, Black Power adopted it. It's also the Aryan fist. White Power uses it, but people don't know where it came from. It's a socialist symbol. It's all the working class uniting against the ruling class to overthrow the ruling class. But beyond that, it was the symbol for the ROTER FRONTKAMPFERBUND. They're the first group that actually used it. So any discussion about Antifa, Anti-Fascist Action, you want to look back to RFB, Ernst Thälmann. So that's they came around 1924. I believe, and they were banned in 1929 by who? SPD. So the ruling party that the Action Anti-Fascist Action, RFB, would be against. So the RFB is the predecessor, same leader. Who's the leader of the German Communist Party? ERNST THALMANN, top Stalinist. So he's the leader of the political party. He's Stalinist, and he's leader of the paramilitary organization. Who do they fight against? They fight against the centrist, the SPD. They fight against basically what would equate to Democrats and rhinos, you could say, together. What people call rhinos, Republicans in name only. So centrists. But so then the main enemy was them, the centrists. So it's basically same type of government like America. Basically, we have a center-left government, you could say. So it's the same situation. So you have the Nazis on the other side, the SA, prior to them becoming, full-on with the Hitlerism and everything else later. So SA is important, because that's like your so-called left-wing Nazis. So both groups were attacking the center. Both groups were attacking Weimar Republic. So the Weimar Republic, so basically the Democrats, they're called Social Democrats. They banned RFB, which RFB was organized fighting against the Nazis. So then you have Nazis on this side, but when you go back to the original theories, they didn't view fascism as a unique political theory. It's just a later stage of capitalism. So when you think of the whole term Antifa, who created the term? Nobody says it. Who invented this term? Who invented this idea, anti-fascism? Joseph Stalin. Yeah, he coined the term of anti-fascism. And then the top Stalinist in Germany, Ernst Thälmann, he's the leader of the Communist Party, and he's the leader of the ROTER FRONTKAMPFERBUND, and then he's the leader of ANTIFA, of Anti-Fascist Action. So you have to look into that lad, and yeah, you see them, they look the same as Nazis. They have the same mustaches, and they look like hooligans. They're fighting street battles. They're dressed more like military style, but it's gangs, isn't it? Yeah, the far left gang, you could call it, and the far right gang, and then you have the center, the police. So the Weimar Republic, the Social Democrats, that's the system, that's the government, that's the police. That's what they fight against. So then the original ROTER FRONTKAMPFERBUND, Anti-Fascist Action, the original Antifa, fights police and Nazis, fights the government. They want to overthrow the government. So anybody who wants to be part of this U.S. government and also support Antifa, it shouldn't be a secret to you. It's about overthrowing the government and doing away with the system. We don't believe in democracy. It's vanguardism. But I'll leave that one for another video. RFB, ROTER FRONTKAMPFERBUND, ERNST THALMANN, German Communist Party. That's where it all began. That's where we get the flag. So look into it if you want to be educated.